Hello traders, we're starting the video with Apple. I mentioned Apple on the 22nd. I think that was Saturday, I believe. Anyways, what I mentioned here was this formation that we are witnessing here, right? You had a rejection on resistance 1, 2, and now you actually broke today, but then you closed under that level of resistance. I'm still not very bullish on Apple. Now this move right here was phenomenal, especially coming from 225 up to basically where you are right now, which is 247. But let's take a look. I want to see the Williams indicator and see where we are. Now you are -7 compared to -6. Yeah, so this is not getting any better. So you're still going up here, but now you have a divergence right here. On the MACD, you also have less divergence between the MACD line and the signal line. On the other side, well, the other side kind of looks bullish, but Apple was the only one that had some sort of relative strength today, but it actually lost momentum after it lost momentum around, I don't know, 11:30 the Pacific time. And maybe part of that was because the market is starting selling off towards the end of the day, which is a bearish signal, like a bearish day, meaning that you had a nice move to the upside, and then sellers stepped in towards the end of the session and basically ate most of the progress that you did during the day. Now, this is not the case in Apple, but you will see that on maybe Amazon and other names that I'm going to mention later. But again, I kind of don't like what I'm seeing on Apple. But let's just wait. I mean, it was kind of strong in the beginning of the day. It had a nice move to the upside, but then unfortunately, it really couldn't, capitalize, for lack of a better term, throughout the entire day. Now let's take a look at a firm. Yeah, I want to do a firm today. So let's do a firm. And one of the things that I noticed today was, obviously, I mentioned this on X, is that we're filling the gap. And this is exactly what I said, I believe, the 22nd as well. The 22nd was, we were looking at this candle right here. So that was on a Saturday. On a Saturday video, I said that, the momentum to the downside is going to persist and we're probably going to fill the gap. Well, today you were down pretty much 3%. But another thing that is interesting to take a look at is the fact that you had this run to the downside. We're looking at the 5-minute chart, and then you had this double bottom right here, and then buyers stepped in, and you basically are on top of, just want to make sure if this is the VWAP. Yeah, you actually close the day right above the anchor VWAP, which is this white line right here. So we'll see how we behave tomorrow. I think, to be honest, unfortunately, we still have more momentum to the downside, and I'm basing that on what I'm seeing on the lower indicators. So if we come down towards 61 or even 55, I think somewhere in this area, we're going to find a good opportunity. I think things are going to get a little obvious at one point. But in general, I think the market has maybe this week, or maybe, I hope not, but maybe another week of a sell-off. And then we might find ourselves with very nice setups to the upside. But for now, I think the trend in a lot of names is to the downside. This was kind of obvious at one point, especially here. When you're looking at this indicator right here, especially right on this candle, coming into this one, that was a very, very good indication that this was going to run to the downside. And it actually did. Well, there's where we are on for a firm. And let's take a look at Amazon. Where is Amazon? Right here. So Amazon, basically what I've been saying in my last videos, this has momentum, back momentum to the downside. You have low liquidity here, and you're seeing these very big pronounced candles going to the downside. You also see a nasty divergence here in the histogram and on the MACD, but you see this divergence right here that is not looking good at all. Now on the other side, you're oversold. You might have a couple of more days, you might actually fill this gap and come down towards 207 or 205. Maybe at that point, you actually find yourself with a very good opportunity to come to the upside. Or maybe you actually kind of like consolidate in this area, build up a little bit of liquidity, and then come back to the upside. I think that Amazon is actually setting up for a good opportunity for traders. I don't see it going lower than 205, or even worst case scenario, I don't see it going lower towards 200. I think once, if you get 200, you're going to be hitting the 200 SMA, and at that point, you're probably going to move to the upside. But for now, I'm just going to focus on the 207, 205 level. Let's take a look at the 5-minute really quick. And this is exactly what I was talking about. You had this move, the buyers stepped in, and the sellers finished the day, killed any momentum that you were having towards coming into resistance. She just came down, straight down, and kind of nasty actually. But I think this is when Trump said that tariffs for Mexico and Canada are actually a go, and obviously the market doesn't want to hear anything like that. I think that macroeconomically speaking, we are right on the edge of something, stagnation at least, and that's not good. Okay, let's move on and talk about Bitcoin, and hitting this level right here. So one of the things that I mentioned to you was that as long as we stay between 110 and 92, we are good. We went under 92 just a few moments ago. We were at 91 and some change. This is not looking good. The MACD was on a neutral range, and now it's starting to point down. That is not good. I think that we can find, and this is another thing that I said, go back to those videos, to Saturday's video. I said if you break this level, you're probably going to find yourself at 86. That is very possible at this point. Now, my concern is, since we had this quick move to the upside back in November, let's see, my concern is if you go to 86, you're going to go running towards 77. This doesn't look good liquidity-wise. So we'll see where we'll find ourselves. But you can easily go down towards 77, worst case scenario to 73. And you're probably going to meet this trend line if that is the case. Let's hope for the best in this case. But definitely the crypto sector is not looking very promising right now. Right now, that I guess only thing that I'm thinking is just keeping an eye on 92. If this breaks, I think 86, 87, 86 is going to be your next stop. If you break 86, it's gonna get nasty. There's no liquidity here, at least over 77, so that is gonna be tough. That's what I have for Bitcoin. Now let's take a look at how you call it, Google. How you call it, and not looking good either. I mean, still right on this gap, basically at the same level where you closed on Friday. MACD is catching momentum to the downside. The Williams indicator, let's take a look. It looks like it's starting to catch momentum to the downside as well. Just keep in mind that this indicator is quite sensitive. So take it for what it is. And RSI is still, right now it's kind of neutral. It's flat, but it's actually on its way down as well. So Google might actually have more room to go to at least 180, fill this gap, or going towards the 200 SMA, which is very possible. And at that point, you might actually find opportunity. My concern here is if you get to this point, you're probably going to break this level of support, get into this low liquidity area, and things could get a little bit sticky. Let's see how much volume we have here. I think this area right here is critical. So we'll see what we get. So you might actually fill that gap. Right here, when you get right on this volume shelf, you're going to meet the 200 SMA. If we continue going to the downside, the MACD is telling me that it's going to go to the downside. Please take a situation for a lot of names if you ask me. Okay, so now let's take a look at our friends. Where are we? HIMS. And let me take a quick note right here. HIMS. All right. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. And you had a nasty drop of almost 20%, 18.29%. A bad day for HIMS. You are right now, you close after hours at 42. But one of the things that I was saying, and I'm a fan of HIMS, but one of the things that I was saying is, so you're right here, right at 42, so right where the cross is. Okay, so you are under support and you're into a low liquidity area, so you might actually find yourself at 35. But one of the things that I was saying was that this trade was way too extended. It's too crowded. There's a lot of hype. By the way, it is hype that the company can actually back up, which is fine. But what I was saying is, if earnings are not perfect or are not exactly what the market is expecting, and this was actually the case, then you're going to drop. Earnings weren't bad at all. I mean, HIMS has been super consistent, report after earnings report. Every single one of them have been great. But this time it wasn't what the market was expecting. It wasn't as perfect as what the market wanted. And now you're finding yourself, with a 20% drop on good earnings. And that was my concern. You're pushing too hard to the upside. And now anything that the market doesn't actually, interpret in a good way, is just going to drop it. And that's exactly what happened in the last, 3 trading days. Yet today, for example, today we were down 11% at one point, right under 41, right under 44, I'm sorry. And then you actually moved back up. So it was a 14% move or something like that. Let's go to the 5 minute. You were down 11%, and then you went up and closed the day about what? 4.12%. Then you had this nasty, nasty move. And, it's unfortunate. Now, I definitely don't want to jump into this tomorrow, unless, I don't know. I'm gonna take a look at the chart and see how it works, but how it looks. But um, I think the chart is getting a little bit too complicated for me. I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow buyers actually step in, because, to be honest, 44 is not a bad deal right now, even though it's still extended, but it's not a bad deal. But now the market might actually continue punishing HIMS, and you might actually see a continuation to the downside, not particularly tomorrow, but in the upcoming days towards 35. And if that is the case, that's actually going to be a good opportunity for a lot of us. Um, but I guess things are playing out the way uh, I was fearing they were going to play out. And what I said again was, it's too extended, it's too crowded, there is too much hype. The hype is backed up by the company, so it's not a crazy hype. It's not a GameStop type of hype. It's a real company hype. But you know the expectations of the market were too high, just way too high, and you see it on the. It's just unfortunate. But if you actually weren't part of this move, fantastic. But now I think it's time to step back and take a look and see how things are going to behave for HIMS. That's what I have for HIMS. And now let's move on and take a look at our friends of Palantir. And what can I tell you about Palantir? Let's take a look at the 4 minute, because I didn't look Palantir after hours. So I don't know. Oof. Okay, so after hours, you had a continuation of 3%. So you had basically a 15% drop. The gap is filling, so already filled. Wow. But also, what can you expect? Let's be honest here. Let's go back to 5 minutes. I want to see something. So you close at 87.7. So you are almost at this level of resistance, of support. I'm sorry. What can you expect? If you didn't take profits, I don't know what to tell you. And one of the reasons why I didn't want to trade this name is because even up here, to me, this was way too extended. Even though this was kind of neutral on the MACD, and that I wasn't looking bad at all. But once you get to this point, wow, it makes no sense. Like, why would I want to chase it? Look at the weekly. It's insane. It's just insane. Like, this is really hard to justify. Continue not to take profits at this point. And unless you are a long-term investor and you're gonna keep this name for 10 years in your portfolio, then fantastic. Maybe if this continues to go down, then buy more shares. But if you're just trading this, just take your profits. That's what I do all the time. I just I don't care if I leave money on the table. I want my money. But anyways, this is filling the gap. Is it closed under the 30 SMA, which is this line right here. You're probably gonna fill this gap. There is low liquidity here, so there's a good chance that you're gonna continue going down. The market is very sensitive right now. We all know it, and the way I feel is we're back at 2018, 2017, 2018 when Trump, every time Trump would open his mouth, we will all have a really, really hard time. And we are here again. This is happening again. MACD is not looking good. And the RSI is still, I'm not going to mention the Williams because it's so sensitive. This it doesn't make sense to, you have to look at these peaks and valleys right here. But when it's right here, you just have to wait. And the RSI is also looking very bearish. Let's keep an eye on the for 84.7, 85 level and see how we behave at that point. But for now, I think this is going to continue going down towards 85. If you break 85, you're going to meet 66 pretty quick, or maybe not. You might actually find a little bit of support right on this area, which makes sense. You can see this candle right here, right at 76 or so. So we'll see how this develops. And now let's finish this video with Tesla. Why not? So look at this chart. What I said on Friday or Saturday, I'm sorry, is and we might actually be seeing a double bottom. And if this double bottom doesn't play out, this thing is gonna go down towards 300. Forget about 315 or anything like that. You're going straight down towards 300. You break 300 and it's gonna be 265. That's it. It's not going to look pretty. So you better pray that this is a double bottom formation, and you are gonna rebound right here. And the only thing that you actually need for that is news, some good news. But the way things are going, I think you're probably gonna find yourself at 300. I really hope to be wrong, but I told you the same thing at 365 when we were up here. I was like, we're gonna hit 365, you know, and then we broke 365, and I told you as well we're gonna go 330. So I think if we break this level at 330, you're going straight to 300. That's going to be painful for some of you. Okay, my friends, let's take a look at the 5 minutes before I close this out. Yeah, this was just nasty the whole day. All right, my friends, that's all I have for you today. Quite an eventful week, I think it's going to be, and we're going to close a month maybe with some pain. We'll see. Anyways, please like and subscribe, and feel free to comment. Other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Bye bye.